Kempire is brought to you by...
Happy 2025. It's a new year and it's a new era for the Kempire podcast. Make sure you subscribe today and make sure that you give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. And shout out to those of you that have left glowing reviews and maybe not so glowing reviews. That's okay too. Thank you so much for the support and sharing our new podcast and everything that's to come. We don't just recap all the things that you've seen already on our YouTube channel. You also get special exclusive episodes and sometimes additional thoughts to the live recaps that we had on YouTube. So make sure you subscribe today and make sure you give us a 5-star review. Thank you in advance.
You're listening to Kempire here on the Kempire Radio Network.
Welcome back to the Kempire channel, your number one source for pop culture news and music, entertainment, reality TV, and so much more. As always, be sure to let me know where you're watching from and what the temperature is. What's the temperature here in New York? Please hold. What's the temperature here in New York? Ew, hold on. This has the wrong temperature because it's not that degrees here in New York. It's 16 degrees. I don't know what that is in Celsius, but you guys can tell us. 16 degrees. But tomorrow's going to be a balmy 29 degrees. Okay. All right, guys, this is a special Hot Topics Live, but I do want to preface this by giving you a trigger warning. We will be talking about several hot topics related to DV and abuse. So I want to give you a trigger warning just because there's just a lot of this conversation based off of the topics that we're going to be talking about. We will be talking about Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively's lawsuit as well. But before that, anytime we do a Hot Topics Live or a Tuesday Takeover, we start off with some good news. And although a lot of people say that they do not miss, including myself, Nneka Ehim from Real Housewives of Potomac, but she did announce via People magazine that she is with child. And if you know, that was part of her journey and her storyline on the Real Housewives of Potomac. So congratulations. So congratulations to Nneka. She made the announcement, as I said, via People magazine. People magazine says this: Nneka Ehim is going to be a mom after over 2 years of trying. The Real Housewives of Potomac alumna, 37, and her husband, Dr. Nneka Ehim, 40, are pregnant with their first child. She tells People magazine exclusively. She says, "It's so exciting." Nneka gushes of the baby due in May. Is she about to have... Nneka, you about to have a Taurus, and I look, you're welcome, okay? I know we weren't the biggest fans of you. However, you're welcome. We've given you a Taurus, possibly, or a Gemini. Then, if it's a Gemini, sorry. If it's a Gemini, you get what you give. No, I'm playing, come on. You get what you give, okay? No. Congratulations, sir, because look, no matter how you felt about, first of all, she looks beautiful. She's glowing. Someone on, I think it was on the Bravo Shade Room, said, congratulations, but we still do not want you to make this a storyline and come back. We don't. Because at the end of the day, being on reality television, now I understand more than ever why Candace decided to leave during her pregnancy. The stress that these women go through being on this reality show, it's not going to be healthy for a baby. So congratulations to Nneka. Maybe we can revisit her in the future. Maybe? No? Oh. No, but congratulations to her. Look, despite anything that we saw on the show, I know there are a lot of women that can relate to her story, not being able to get pregnant and, the challenges of trying to get pregnant. I'm sure she's very happy. She looks beautiful. They are a beautiful couple. Congratulations to them. Congratulations. All right, so that's some good news. In some semi-good news, here's why I consider this good news. I consider this good news for Allie's sake. So James Kennedy, as you know, was arrested for allegedly harming a domestic dispute, okay, being physical with Allie. So it was announced, let me pull up the actual article, that the charges against him have been dropped, Let me just bring up the article so I can fully give you the full story, okay? Hold on. And Allie confirms in her statement on the story is that they're no longer together, which honestly, I'm happy about that part. I'm happy about that. But before we get to her statement, this is what TMZ reports. It says, James Kennedy is off the hook in his domestic violence case. No charges will be filed against him, TMZ has learned. The Vanderpump Rules star's lawyer, Scott Lehman, tells us the Burbank City's attorney's office just informed him of their decision. Lehman adds, I want to thank them for conducting a thorough and professional review of the matter involving my client, James Kennedy. The diligent investigation confirmed what we have maintained from the beginning. There were no grounds for any charges to be filed against Mr. Kennedy. Didn't the police report say that he picked her up in the air and threw her to the ground? I vaguely remember reading that. And here's the thing. Sometimes the reason why these prosecutors don't seek charges because the witness doesn't cooperate. And I believe they said that at the time of his arrest, they didn't have any physical marks on her. And you could already tell after it happened that she didn't seem like she was going to file charges against him. Lehman says that Kennedy is happy to put the matter behind him, I'm sure, and is looking forward to continuing to focus on his sobriety and his DJ career. As TMZ previously reported, the VPR alum was arrested last month for a misdemeanor domestic violence following an argument with an unnamed woman at the time. According to the Burbank Police Department's arrest log, the woman claimed her boyfriend picked her up and threw her to the ground. See? Shortly after the arrest, Kennedy's girlfriend, Allie Lieber, who was not named as the victim, released a statement saying that she's doing just fine, but taking the time she needs and asked people to respect her privacy. As for James, he said that he was going to take some time away to focus on himself, adding, I am committed to making meaningful changes in my life. I am taking time to focus on my sobriety, personal growth, and being present for my loved ones. This is almost like forced time for him because remember, Vanderpump Rules is getting rebooted. It's already, I believe, I heard that they've already have their cast. And they may have started filming already. So this might be a little forced time to take off because no one's really checking for him. And part of me thinks that some of why he probably started drinking again and maybe acting out in this way, besides having a history of doing this, was because of his disappointment over losing this opportunity. A lot of these Vanderpump Rules stars, their main paycheck was Vanderpump Rules. And a lot of everything else that they did, they leveraged Vanderpump Rules to bring attention to those other things. And yes, I know James Kennedy is a world-renowned DJ. So Allie released a statement in regards to the announcement that James would not be charged. On her Instagram story, Allie says, thank you all for your support and kindness. I'm happy that the prosecutors decided not to file against James as I never desired criminal charges, clearly indicating that she did not cooperate in regards to filing charges against him. We had an argument outside of his home related to him drinking again. However, I was not physically hurt. I was shocked by the headlines and disheartened by how the event was portrayed. We are no longer together, but I'll always support James and wish him the best with his sobriety and healing. Thank you for your understanding. Here's the thing, and this is how documentaries like Worst Ex Ever are important. One of the problems in our country with DV is the legal system is just terrible with handling it. And this is part of the reason why things like this are perpetuated from victim to victim to victim, and sometimes those victims don't make it. If you did not see Worst Ex Ever, the biggest lesson that I got from watching that documentary was the fact that if the law did what it was supposed to do in protecting victims, it could have prevented deaths. I'm happy that Allie announced that they are no longer together. However, my concern is that James Kennedy has had a pattern of behavior. Previous exes have come out, even after he was arrested, and confirmed this behavior, and it has not gotten checked. We wish Allie the best. That's the only person we wish the best. And we wish that James Kennedy actually gets the help that he needs. All right. Let me take a sip, and then we're going to move on to another article. All right. Okay, we did that. All right. The other thing that I wanted to mention, earlier today, we did our Real Housewives of New York City and Beverly Hills recap. And we talked a lot about Brynn Whitfield. You know Brynn Whitfield. Let me show you, remind you who she is. Okay? So Brynn did an interview. Oh, wait, did I not bring up the photo? Hold on. I need to pull up her comment. Hold on, TikTok. Look, hold on. Let me bring up the comment that I wanted to bring. Do I not have it here? No, I don't have it here, which I hate. Wait. I know I have the comment here somewhere that I want to show that Aaron, is this it? Hold on, y'all. I just want to make sure. No, this is not it. Because Aaron refutes something that she says in this article. It's okay. At the end of the day, I know that she refuted it. Where did I do with it, though? Because I know Aaron refuted it, and I wanted to pull it up here for you guys, but it's okay. First, let me just show you what Brynn said. So Brynn posted a couple of things on IG today. She's been receiving a lot of backlash from the season finale. One of the posts that she posted was this: teach your daughters to say no. Teach your daughters to raise their voices. Teach your daughters to make waves, to value safety over politeness, to yell fire instead of help. Teach your daughters to feel comfortable in their own bodies. Teach your daughters to live without shame. Teach your daughters to hit first, to bite back, to burn the world down when they are mistreated. Teach your daughters to out their abusers, to be deadly serious, to be dangerous, to be sure, to know what they want. Teach your daughters to take a stand, to be bold, to be brave. Teach your daughters to believe in a better world, and then tell them they deserve one. Say you do not have to suffer like I have suffered. Say the legacy of our girlhood does not have to be one of pain. Okay. This is what she posted, okay? This is after our recap. I saw it, she had posted a few hours ago. Well, then she did an interview, okay, with Rolling Stone. And in that said interview, she says this. Initially, the interviewer says, initially you told the other women that you confided in Uba how you had been SA'd and were upset she made the comment about you knowing about your past experience. Then later that night, you told the women maybe Uba didn't, quote, clock it because you had been hysterical about other things, including a friend's death by unaliving. When you told her, can you clarify what happened from your perspective? So Brynn says this in this interview with Rolling Stone. She says, it's not right to assume that everyone remembers everything that you say all the time and then hold them accountable for that. I know for a fact that I said it. She's doubling down, y'all. I know for a fact that I said it. But when someone's screaming into the phone, the other person might not necessarily hear them. At that point, she was problem solving and being a great friend, saying, okay, do you need me to get a car to come and get you? As I'm rambling on, just because you say things doesn't necessarily mean people hear them. You can't sit here and say that everyone I've ever told every single thing to is going to remember it perfectly. I know what I said, and I know that I did say it. I went through a laundry list of things in that conversation. I was hysterical, and I was like, why does this keep happening to me? Why do bad things happen to me? I remember I text my brother afterwards. I was like, oh my God, I told Uba, and he was like, it's fine, you can trust her. I did trust Uba with that after what she's been through herself. And she's always was really, really good friend to me. At that point, I hadn't even told any of the other girls. So she's doubling down, saying that she did, in fact, tell Uba, but Uba didn't clock it. Brynn, your best bet was to keep quiet. You have a pattern of behavior, and literally, if you watched our Real Housewives of New York City and Beverly Hills recap, I had an aha about an incident that happened at the top of filming last season with another woman that never made it on the show. And Brynn was involved in that incident. And according to sources, Brynn was the root of a lie in that situation, allegedly. You have a dangerous pattern of behavior that they made to seem like it was cute throughout the season, only for it to bubble over and it get this dark. I don't think anyone needs to be mean to Brynn over this. Clearly, this woman needs real help, and being on reality television isn't the help. Doing an interview with Rolling Stones isn't the help. You need real help. Based on what I've seen, and look, I only have a psychology bachelor's degree, but I'm sure we have plenty of therapists that will call in and weigh in regards to what they've seen on the show. You need real help. You're doubling down, making this woman feel like she may have betrayed you in the worst way. Do you know, you could tell from her confessional that she was distraught over this. And that's only a glimpse. Can you imagine what she was going through months leading up to this being released, weeks leading up to this being released? So you still double down and say that you told Uba. Literally, Raquel, as she was talking to Brynn while they were in Puerto Rico, she clocked you. And she was like, in that moment. And they didn't want to say it because it's such a sensitive topic, because we want to believe victims. But literally in that moment, Raquel clocked it and she was like, I realized that Brynn was lying. Not necessarily lying about being SA'd, but lying about Uba knowing before this. Disgusting. And the fact that you've taken no ownership, I don't know if during the reunion you took any ownership, but disgusting. Mr. Melon Magic says, Kim, do you have the article from page 6? Because I forgot the name of it. All you have to do is Google, how do we put this? Look, just Google housewife fired ahead of reboot or during reboot. I'm sure it will come up. I'm going to talk more about it during our Washington, D.C. show, though. I'm going to make sure I'm fully versed and I've read the article. I'm prepared. I might even read it for the audience. And then spill some more tea. Go get your tickets if you're in Washington, D.C. Go get your tickets, okay? All right. Okay, let me say thank you. Thank you, JRTs, for the super chat. Hey, King Camp, Hampton, Virginia, and it's 23 degrees. That's not bad. That's kind of warm. That's balmy in comparison to what we're dealing with up here. Thank you so much for the super chat. We appreciate your support. Hey, Miss Esquire. Miss Esquire is here. Miss Esquire, I hope you're going to call in because we got to talk about this Justin Baldoni and Blake-Lively situation. Yeah, she is a Virgo, but come on. Ms. Esquire says, thank you for the super chat. She says, Brynn, I'm going to hold your hand with a BetterHelp gift card. In between when I say this, go get your help and get well, baby. Honestly, and literally I had the aha moment that I was like, wait a minute. There was that situation from last season involving Brynn. It never made it to air, though. Remember, because they didn't want to associate anything with the housewife that never made it on air. Remember, they were only in filming like a couple of weeks. And then we just heard that story. Okay. Lucky Pie, no, the DC show will not be live streamed, but the New York City show will be live streamed. And every show is different. So if you're in DC, don't think, I'll watch the New York City show. It's not going to be the same. Just saying. All right. Anyways, enough about that. So Brynn did that. She did talk about, in regards to the women that she keeps in contact with and she talks to on a regular basis. She said Aaron, and Aaron says that's not true. So Brynn just has a habit of lying. And again, it might stem from her childhood. I don't know. But honestly, I don't care. Get the help that you need, madam. Get the help that you need. Please and thank you. All right. Moving on. Yeah, we're moving quick tonight because I want to get to some callers too. Also, I have to watch. There's a new episode, right? The reunion of Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. Gotta watch that, okay? But I want to get through some of the stories. I wanted to give you an update on Wendy Williams. As you know, Wendy Williams recently spoke out in a couple of different interviews with Charlamagne the God on The Breakfast Club, with TMZ. She even called into Don Lemon. And she says herself that she is not permanently incapacitated. She wants to be with her family, and she wants to be out of this guardianship. The family has started a change.org petition, and they launched a GoFundMe, which has already, let me just refresh the page because a lot can happen, has reached nearly $37,000. Okay? Well, the family is giving an update, but before we get into the update, shout out to our friends over at lovebscott.com. They said that Wendy Williams' conservatorship inspires family visitation rights reform by a New York senator. So they write this, it says, Wendy Williams' guardianship woes are commanding the attention of at least one New York lawmaker who's making a big push so her family can easily visit her. New York lawmaker Anthony Palumbo announced his initiative to reintroduce Carolyn's Law, a measure designed to reform the current guardianship laws in New York State regarding family visitation. At the heart of Palumbo's proposal is the belief that families should not be forcibly separated from their loved ones due to guardianship circumstances. Carolyn's Law would allow family members to file a motion with the court seeking visitation rights. Once submitted, the guardian would have 10 days to demonstrate whether the visitor is displaying any inappropriate behavior. If the guardian fails to prove such claims, families would be granted the right to visit. Palumbo has long followed Williams' case and expressed deep concern over her current living situation, describing it as tragic that she is confined to her apartment and away from her loved ones. Now she's confined to a nursing home. He believes it is critical for people like Wendy Williams, regardless of any cognitive decline they may be experiencing, to maintain familial connections during difficult times. The renewed attention surrounding Williams' case has prompted a wave of support for Palumbo's legislative efforts. Since he first introduced Carolyn's Law back in 2022, his office has reportedly received countless calls and emails from citizens expressing their concerns about Williams' guardianship ordeal. Palumbo recognizes the unfortunate truth that celebrity tragedies often serve as a wake-up call for legislative reform, sparking public interest where there might otherwise be none. This is why I said it was so important for the Where is Wendy Williams documentary. I understand it was uncomfortable for a lot of us to watch Wendy Williams be exploited by the people around her. But I do believe that the producers behind this documentary did shift once they noticed that there was something wrong with Wendy at the time, maybe the addiction, dementia, not sure. They shifted it to tell the story about guardianship across this country. They continue. The controversy surrounding Wendy Williams' guardianship began after Wells Fargo took significant action in early 2022. To freeze her bank account, successfully petitioning the court for temporary financial guardianship because she was, quote, of unsound mind. Williams has vehemently opposed this characterization and is actively fighting to regain control over her finances. While legal battles continue on that front, the underlying issues raised by Williams' situation are far-reaching. They touch on critical topics regarding the rights and autonomy of individuals who may be vulnerable and at risk of financial exploitation, particularly those facing health concerns. As lawmakers like Palumbo advocate for reforms, Wendy Williams' case may very well redefine how guardianship laws are handled in New York and possibly beyond. In the wake of tragedy, it seems the voice of advocacy is growing louder, demanding the families not be sidelined or silenced in the realms of guardianship and visitation. The hope is that Carolyn's Law will catalyze positive change, paving the way for families to retain their right to connection when it matters most. So this is a law that's happening, that they're trying to make happen here in New York State. Look, good things can happen out of bad things. So I'll keep you up to date on things like that. But as I said to you guys before, Wendy Williams' family, because some people have speculated that Wendy Williams' family just wants to take control of her and her money. I don't believe that. I think they want to see Wendy Williams. Right now, they have no access to Wendy Williams. That includes her son. The only way that they can get in contact with Wendy is if Wendy calls them. So they have started a change.org petition and a GoFundMe. Some people have asked why a GoFundMe? Because they need to be able to fight this. They weren't the millionaires. Wendy Williams was the millionaire. And her money is under lock and key right now, under the guardianship. So they were trying to raise the funds to find the right attorney. And I know a lot of people know that Wendy's sister, Wanda, is an attorney, but I don't believe this is her specialty. And she doesn't practice in the state of New York that I know of. She might be barred here. I don't know. But there is an update on the GoFundMe where the family says, we will be officially retaining the law firm of Schwartz, Sklakis, Arik, Greenberg, Atlas, LLP, to represent Alex Finney, that is Wendy Williams' niece, to petition the court to address all issues pertaining to Wendy Williams' guardianship. Lead attorneys are Jason Atlas and Brett Nussbaum. A $20K retainer will be submitted from the GoFundMe. So thank you to all of you that donated. So this is part of the reason why they were trying to raise money, so that they could pay for a retainer of this level. And you may recall the situation with Britney Spears was helped spearheaded by the fans saying free Britney, free Britney, free Britney, and finding the right attorney to represent her. I don't think Britney Spears' attorney might be licensed to practice here in New York State, where Wendy Williams is now located, but hopefully this particular law firm will be able to help Wendy Williams and her family. And I know when we first covered this story, Wendy's attorney came out saying that she has her good and her bad days. Wendy says, I've never met this woman. This is an attorney that represents Wendy Williams' guardian. Wendy probably has never, Wendy said she never met this woman. Wendy did not hire this woman herself. Okay, this is an attorney that was paid by the guardian and is representing the guardian on Wendy Williams' behalf. But this is definitely good news. There are a couple of updates here that I want to read to you guys as well. Hold on, let me just read you a couple of updates. This was a morning update from they say this is from Wendy. It says, today is January 21st, 2025. I have a pink Versace robe and a Victoria's Secret black bra, and I'm watching Botched. Okay. But my body is hitting and holding with my red lipstick because it's winter. Still here in this luxury prison. Keep you all updated. Wendy. How you doing? Shout it out. And apparently she wants to thank Tasha K as well. She says, thank you so much to my supporters and Tasha K and the Wino Gang. Like, did you guys send money? Well, that's good. Their goal is $50,000. They're at right now almost $37,000. So if you want to donate, I'm going to drop the GoFundMe in the live chat. And if you know of anyone that wants to donate, you can share this with them as well. Let me just drop this in the live chat. Okay. All right. Okay. Wait, Philip says, just watch What Happens Live with Bronwyn. She said that she had receipts that was shown. I enjoyed part one of the Rio. Well, I'll be talking about that at some point tomorrow. I haven't decided when, because as you know, I have a live show this Friday in Washington, D.C. I got to go to Washington, D.C., so stay tuned. Okay? But I will definitely be doing that, but I can't promise when. Sorry. The Girl Scout says, not Tasha K. Chow. Well, I saw Tasha did speak about this Wendy Williams situation herself as well. But look, apparently, any press is good press. Brings attention. People want to donate. People want to support Wendy Williams. And apparently, it is sparking conversation in regards to New York State's guardianship laws. Google schmoogle. Matter of fact, I will actually link you guys to the article where the Carolyn's Law is being discussed. Hold on right now. I'm just going to drop this in the live chat, and replay crew, you'll be able to catch this in the live chat as well. Okay. Thank you, Winter. Winter, you're so patient. Winter says, take your time, Kempire. I'm tuning in either way. Thank you. I appreciate that. All right. Yeah, because I don't want to pre-record it. I want to be able to take calls and things like that. So stay tuned. At some particular point, I will be doing my Real Housewives of Salt Lake City recap. All right? Guys, if you haven't already, be sure to like the video. It's easy and it's free. We are talking about a couple of different hot topic stories here in the channel. If you're new to the channel, we just don't talk about reality television. We talk about everything in pop culture. So make sure that you are subscribed and turn on your notifications. All right. Okay. All right. Let me say thank you, Jocelyn. Thank you so much for the, damn, Jocelyn. Thank you for the super chat. Jocelyn says, Tasha K needs to pay Cardi. Ooh. I haven't given you guys an update on that story. There was a slight update the other day, but there's always so many updates. But the latest update, still Tasha K has not paid Cardi B, and they're still battling this out in court. In regards to getting it paid and not Tasha K being bankrupt. Okay. Let me move on. Okay, let's get into this Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively situation again. If you missed it, we've talked about this. I was about to say this couple. They're not a couple. There's a 10-minute from the set of It Ends With Us. At this particular point, I need to watch the movie. But I don't want to watch the movie because part of me thinks, like, is this just a sick ploy to bring more attention to this damn movie that everyone said that they had no chemistry in, only for us to find out that they had no chemistry? They were having all this other stuff going on. Anyways. Okay. Let me take a sip. So, as you know, Blake Lively is accusing Justin Baldoni, the people behind this movie, of sexual harassment. There's a lot of damning claims. We're not going to go through all of them. Justin Baldoni then filed his own lawsuit against the New York Times and then filed another lawsuit, a $400 million lawsuit against Blake Lively and her husband, Ryan Reynolds. He then, yesterday or today, I can't even keep up, maybe today, released the raw footage, 10 minutes from the set of It Ends With Us. I watched it. I wish I could share with you, but there's music playing in the background. I can't, okay? But you can watch it. Entertainment Tonight has it on YouTube. But I want to get into him releasing the raw footage, and now Blake Lively is responding to that raw footage being released to the public, okay? All right, so first off, Justin Baldoni, according to TMZ, is staying on the offensive, attempting to shoot down Blake Lively's allegation that he sexually harassed her by releasing raw video from It Ends With Us that reveals some very telling conversation between the co-stars. They continue to say Baldoni's team dropped nearly 10 minutes of unedited footage, including one scene where Justin and Blake are slow dancing. I don't know how actors do it and not fall in love. I'm sitting there watching them dance, and they're not really, they're not even talking. They're not like literally talking about like lines from the movie. They're just talking about direction of, oh, we should do this or we should do that. And I'm just thinking to myself, I'm just looking at them like they're very close. And at one point he brushes her nose. Like it's very romantic. I'm like, how do you not fall in love? Like they're very convincing. Okay. I will say this at the top of the video. Let me just see if I can. I don't want to play the video, but at the top of the video, this is what ET had at the top. No, well, this is actually from Brian Friedman, the attorney representing Justin Baldoni. He says Miss Lively's complaint alleges that during a scene, Mr. Baldoni and Miss Lively were filming for a slow dance montage. Mr. Baldoni was behaving inappropriately. The following video captures on May 23rd of 2023 clearly refutes Miss Lively's characterization of Justin Baldoni's behavior. The scene in question was designed to show the two characters falling in love and longing to be close to one another. Both actors are clearly behaving well within the scope of the scene and with mutual respect and professionalism. These are all 3 takes filmed of the sequence. You can watch this on Entertainment Tonight's YouTube channel. Okay, back to what the article is saying about Justin Baldoni. Okay, so they said Baldoni's team dropped the nearly 10 minutes of unedited footage, including one scene where Justin and Blake are slow dancing. Blake referenced the scene in her lawsuit against Justin and accused him of getting creepy with comments about the fragrance she was wearing. In the video, which has both actors mic'd up, you don't see Justin making any offensive comments or actions toward Blake. Here's the thing, though. This is video that could be edited. Clearly, it was edited because in the background, they blur out the background folks. There is indication in regards to, what they put in movies, so to note time marks and things like that. They said, TMZ's told that his team believes this completely refutes Blake's sexual harassment claim. What is interesting about the video, it's a clear window to the massive creative differences that plague the movie. Justin and Blake are speaking to each other throughout the scene, going back and forth about camera angles, lighting, and whether they should be speaking to each other or simply staring into each other's eyes. But when you watch them giving these notes towards each other, it doesn't feel contentious. But they're good actors, so you could kind of be like telling someone F you with a smile on your face. And that is the accusation that has been thrown at Blake Lively, that she sort of kind of came into this experience and she was a nightmare on set. And then she accused Justin Baldoni of a smear campaign. Not only did she accuse him of sexual harassment, she also accused him of trying to disparage her name once the film was released, and used his publicist team to do so. In the final edit, only the video was used for slow-mo footage. None of their audio was used. And there's a reference to Justin's nose. In his lawsuit, he mentioned that Blake mocking the size of his nose and saying that he should get a nose job. Well, that all plays out in the video. Here's the thing, though, and I wish I could play the video for you, but again, you can watch the video for yourself on Entertainment Tonight's YouTube channel. The way that TMZ writes it makes it seem more disgusting or inappropriate. But when you watch it, it seems like they're joking about the nose conversation. But again, these are actors. And you also know that people can kind of say snarky remarks and laugh it off like it's a joke. But when I watched it, I didn't take that scene like she was being like disparaging to him. But maybe he took it that way. But again, he wasn't the one who initiated a lawsuit. He has now since filed 2 lawsuits. I still don't understand the New York Times lawsuit, but okay. As they lean in for a kiss, Blake says, "I feel so nosy. I mean, it's just like noses." And Justin laughingly responds, "I know, my nose is so big." Their combo continues, and Blake says that they need to shut down production for a month so that he can get a nose job. But see how they're saying this? I'm sure me reading it to you, you're like, oh my God, that's so awful. But if you watch the video footage, it doesn't seem that way. It seems like she's joking with him. Their combo continues, and Blake says that they need to shut down production for a month so that he can get a nose job. But she does say, "Just kidding," at the end. He was also kind of laughing at it. TMZ reached out to Blake's team for their take on the raw video. So now Blake's legal team is speaking out and responding to the video, the raw footage that was released. Okay. So, according to People magazine, Blake Lively's legal team is firing back after attorneys for Justin Baldoni released footage shedding light on the actors' behind-the-scenes conflict on It Ends With Us. On Tuesday, January 21st, Baldoni's attorney, Brian Freeman, released a video obtained by TMZ in an effort to refute some of Lively's claims made in her December 20th sexual harassment complaint against her director co-star. The footage depicts Baldoni 40 and Lively 37 filming a dialogue-free scene in the hit 2024 movie, speaking out of character to joke about his nose and her spray tan. The actress producer's lawyers now say in a statement shared with People that, quote, every frame of the released footage corroborates to the letter what Lively included in her lawsuit about that scene. In her December 20th complaint suing Baldoni and some of his associates alleging sexual harassment and retaliatory smear campaign against her, Lively claimed that he exhibited, quote, disturbing and unprofessional behavior. And when you watch it, I don't get disturbing and unprofessional. Again, when you're trying to do a movie like this and you're that intimate, I mean, it's acting. Okay? So they continue. They said that in December, in her December complaint, Baldoni and some of his associates alleging sexual harassment and retaliatory smear campaign against her, she alleged that he exhibited disturbing and unprofessional behavior on the set of the hit Colleen Hoover adaptation, causing a, quote, hostile work environment and, quote, grief, fear, trauma, and extreme anxiety. In Lively's complaint was the accusation that during a slow dance scene, Baldoni, quote, leaned forward and slowly dragged his lips from her ear and down her neck as he said, "It smells so good." Look. After caressing Lively with his mouth in a way that had nothing to do with their roles, Baldoni later allegedly responded to her objection by saying, "I'm not even attracted to you," according to the filing. And look, I do see some people out there saying that they believe that, that Blake Lively was attracted to him and he rejected her, and that's why she's filing this lawsuit. We need to get away from that narrative. That's a very dangerous narrative because that, again, is blaming victims, and that is a narrative that we've seen before. Let's just keep it to what is being said and what we can see for ourselves in these filings. I just think that's dangerous to speculate that she had feelings for him and she felt rejected. Is this 1992 right now? So Baldoni countered on a December 31st lawsuit against the New York Times for libel, false light invasion of privacy, and moreover an article covering her allegations. He then filed a $400 million lawsuit on January 16th against Lively and her husband, Ryan Reynolds, and their publicist, claiming defamation, extortion, and more. The latter suit alleges that while filming a romantic montage of their characters, the Gossip Girl alum implied that Baldoni should get plastic surgery to fix his nose. In the released video, both can be seen making quips about his nose, including a joke Lively makes referencing plastic surgery. Justin Baldoni and his lawyer may hope that this latest stunt will get ahead of the damaging evidence against him, but the video itself is damning, reads the statement from Lively's legal team. The video shows Mr. Baldoni repeatedly leaning in towards Miss Lively, attempting to kiss her, kissing her forehead, rubbing his face and mouth against her neck, flicking his lips with his thumb, caressing her, telling her how good she smells, and talking with her out of character. You do see this in the raw footage. Every moment of this was improvised by Mr. Baldoni with no discussion or consent in advance and no intimacy coordinator present. Lively's lawyers continue, Mr. Baldoni was not only Miss Lively's co-star, but the director, the head of the studio, and Miss Lively's boss. The video shows that Miss Lively leaning away and repeatedly asking for the character to just talk. Any woman who has been inappropriately touched in the workplace will recognize Miss Lively's discomfort. They will recognize her attempts as levity to try to deflect the unwanted touching. No woman should have to take defensive measures to avoid being touched by their employer without their consent. The statement continues that releasing the "It Ends With Us" footage to the media, quote, is another unethical attempt to manipulate the public. It is also a continuation of their harassment and retaliatory campaign. While they are focused on misleading media narratives, we are focused on the legal process. We are continuing our efforts to require Mr. Baldoni and his associates to answer in court, under oath, rather than through manufactured media stunts. Also on January 21st, Baldoni's attorney promised to launch a website that will contain all correspondence as well as relevant videos that quash her claims. Ooh, child. This is getting bad, right? This is pretty bad. And it's unfortunate because it feels like this could go on for a very long time. And I don't know. Okay, what are you guys saying? What did I miss? Jay says, I don't think Kempire saw anything. He's usually on point. What do you mean saw anything? Zimbani says, didn't she start the media stunts? Well, she filed a lawsuit. Okay. Billy Little says, no, sir. Kempire, don't let Blake gaslight you like she did Ryan to leave Scarlett. Here's the thing, guys. Please understand, this is what we do. We're weighing all of the information. None of us were there, okay? We're just giving you all the information. We've given you both sides. We've given you what Justin Baldoni has released, and we have also given you what Blake Lively's attorney has said in response to the raw footage that was leaked. Okay. All right. Let me say thank you. NYCMP, thank you so much for the super chat. NYCMP says, two wrongs and no rights. Love how you grouped updates. Thank you so much, NYCMP. Thank you for another super chat. JF's take on DV is much more indicative DV from POV. Okay. Thank you so much for the super chat. All right. Let me see. Hold on. Ada, I did watch it. And I even told you guys where you could watch it as well. Okay. All right. And here's the thing, too, guys. Just because I don't necessarily speak what you want me to speak doesn't mean that I'm going to shuck and jive for the people that love Blake or the people that love Justin. That's not going to happen over here, just in case you are new. Okay? Just remember that. Anyways, moving on. I'm going to drop the call-in link for those that want to call in that are members. So if you're a member of the channel, we're going to drop the call link for you guys on the community tab. Please hold. Okay. Boom, 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 boom. Let me do that over here. Okay. All right. Members, we're dropping the call link for you guys on the community tab, and then we're going to call it a night. All right. Exactly. Lucky says, let them know, Kempire, you're here to report. Yeah, like, nobody's picking a side here. And even if I did, that's my choice, my channel. I'm giving you the information. I didn't even pick a side. I'm giving you both sides of the situation. And one of the most important things that I want to remind you guys, because outside of these people that you do not know, there are people, real victims of sexual harassment that deal with very similar behavior in the workplace. And this is why I say it's dangerous to just refute anyone's claims in the situation. All right. All right. Thank you so much, Eon, for the super chat. We appreciate your support. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay. Moving along. All right. All right. Let me go here. Move this here. There we go. All right. Did I cover everything that I wanted to cover today? Again, guys, if you missed it, don't forget the Kempire After Dark, a live experience, is coming to Washington, D.C. this Friday at Union Stage. There are some tickets still available for general admission and some available for meet and greets. Go get your tickets today. More information will be available in the description. And then the Kempire After Dark live experience is returning to New York City. There is a live stream option for that show exclusively, so make sure that you get your tickets for that as well. Okay? Thank you, Big Miss Muppet. She says, we appreciate K&N keeping it so very real. All right. Let me see. Exactly. Natasha says, your experience is your own. No one can say how she felt but her. Yeah, look, wait for it to play out. Wait for it to play out. You can have your feelings about either party, but again, we weren't there, and I do feel like some of the conversation around cases like this are very dangerous, and it reminds me of how a lot of people that had accusations of sexual harassment in the workplace, how they were made the villain in those stories. And I'm not saying that that's not necessarily the situation here, but we have to be very careful, especially when we look at situations like what we're seeing on Real Housewives of New York with Brynn, and you just never know. Let the information play out, and we shall see. Let this play out in court and not on social media. I do agree in regards to that. Why are we, the public, getting this raw footage? The court should get the raw footage. Public opinion is one thing. That's not going to resolve your legal situation. That footage should be given to the courts for them to see and to break down. So, just saying. Okay. Semhar says the meet and greet is before the show, Semhar, in Washington, D.C. Is before the show. Okay. All right. Guys, we're almost at 300 likes. Be sure to like the video. It's easy and it's free. We have quite a few people backstage that want to call in and share their thoughts. So we're going to take a few callers, and then I'm going to get out of here. All right, because I still have to pack for Washington, D.C. All right, we have Lee backstage. We're going to bring Lee up first. Lee, what did you want to share? Before you do that, Lee, let me put up my disclaimer. Hold on. If I have it here, do I have it here? Oh, here it is. There we go. Lee, what's going on?
Hey, how are you?
How are you?
I'm doing good. So one thing I want to say about the Brynn thing, I don't want to give her too much attention, but the thing that's throwing me off is Brynn is saying Uba was such a good friend to her, but yet you mock and berate her, and then you're trying to like prey on her all season. So that's how you repay somebody for being a good friend. She needs to see the lady ASAP. Like, please go and sit in that chair. And the Blake Lively lawsuit, it really does seem like she felt, I want to say this like clear, it really did seem like she felt the workplace was inappropriate. And even though maybe Justin may not see it as inappropriate, he probably is just thinking like, oh, I'm acting, you know, like this is just acting. We're not together. I don't want you. But it's like she said, there wasn't an intimacy coach. Maybe most sets that she's been on, there was an intimacy coach. So maybe that's something that she needed to make her feel comfortable. So I guess it's really a learning lesson for people who are starting out in Hollywood and want to have their own production companies. Like what one actor may need, what one actor may not need, somebody else may need. So it's a learning curve, and, you know, we'll see how it plays out in court. I'm interested to see, but but we cannot, you know, say like how she felt, you know, in that moment, because, so.
Yeah. Okay.
That's it.
And that's the thing. And that's the thing with Hollywood too. And we talk about this all the time here on the channel, is that there is this sort of like thin line of it's entertainment, but it's still a work environment. And how do you protect against these things in the future? So those are all things. And then literally when you watch it, it's like, I'm uncomfortable watching. I'm like, these actors are fantastic, because this is very uncomfortable how close you have to be. You're trying to figure out the direction and things like that. So, okay. All right, Lee, thank you for calling in.
I agree. Have a good one.
You too. All right. We have NYC MP backstage. NYC MP, what did you want to share?
Here's why I think I'm in the right community, because historically speaking, the people that really truly need the legal system and the HR system and the whatever system to work the right way. We don't always do it that way. We're talking Wendy Williams. We're talking possibly definitely Uba. We're talking possibly James Kennedy's ex. Here's the thing: the people that are truly victims, truly survivors, we're used to being on the floor. We're used to being, we'll try. We can try if you're juvenile, because honestly, what happens at the end is that you get run over by that legal system. We see it with Wendy Williams. James Kennedy, she knew better. She knew she was going to get run over by that too. And here's the problem with Brynn and what Lively's doing is that, no, you may have experienced the workplace, whatever, but what you're representing, Blake, is a woman that's been in a domestic violence situation, and she is not representing correctly. Now, that was your movie. That was what you were doing. Did you have a bad time doing it? Okay, fine. But what you're doing is a bigger story. You did the movie, allegedly, because you wanted to present the bigger story, which was that these people are in danger. And this is what the cycle of violence looks like. That's all I got to say about that. Okay. I just want to say it.
Okay.
I love y'all.
Thank you, NYC, and people calling in. All right, guys, keep liking the video. Thank you so much for 326 likes. We appreciate the support. Liz, thank you so much for the super chat. Liz says, you have callers because you understand that we all have a difference of opinion. People need to stop wanting you to say what they want. Holy Ghost. That's so perfect. We just announced that Nneka is having a baby. Liz, thank you so much. I appreciate the support. Look, everyone has a right to their opinion, but don't try and attack me for, and mind you, I wasn't even sharing my opinion. I'm sharing you the news. I haven't expressed my opinion. The only opinion I gave you is the HR perspective in regards to what women have gone throughout history. And I'm not saying that's necessarily Blake's situation, because we don't know, because we don't have all of the information, despite what has been leaked to the press. We have to keep in mind, there are women in workplaces that have been made the villain. What did you do? How did you handle it? Why did you wear that outfit? Like, this is coming from a man that has watched the sexual harassment video thousands of times in 15 years, okay? So I see certain things. I have a different perspective than a lot of people that don't do this, okay? All right, Janelle's backstage. We're going to bring Janelle. Hold on, Janelle. Ooh, I almost dropped you. Janelle, what's going on?
Don't drop me, baby. Bonjour. How are you?
Good night. How are you?
I'm good. I want to talk about Brynn and Wendy Williams.
Okay.
Also, side note, as a person who's an actress, please don't. People fall in love on set. Okay?
They do, right? They do. I knew it.
They fall in love because
I would have.
I'm not.
Did you ever fall in love?
I have not. You know what? Infatuation.
Oh. In a scene? Like you're doing a scene with someone? And you're
I was doing a short film. This is years ago. And my co-star came, super nice guy. I didn't think anything of it. And it was like in the scene, he's supposed to be hitting on me. And all of a sudden, you just get into it. You lose yourself in the scene. And next you know, I was like, oh, he cute, even though he's not my type. In real life, he was not my type. And I was just like, he was just that good of an actor. And so I was like, hold up. Like, we need to exchange numbers. And I had to catch myself. I'd be like, girl, this ain't your man. So
wow.
And it happens. And also the thing is that I could tell you, I won't name names, and I've heard this from good authority. A lot of people have arrangements in their marriages where they know those type of things will happen, and it is what it is. And I think it speaks more so on like purity culture in America and like people. Monogamy is totally fine. If you want to be monogamous, live your best life. But I think there's like, if the moment you say that you're non-monogamous, people tend to look down on you. And I think that's for a bigger discussion. So, because it's not just like artists who are out there like living their best life. It's a bunch of like regular folks that you may be going to work with every single day. And you don't know what type of lifestyle they're living outside of work. So I think it's a much bigger discussion. But like, trust, people be falling in love in set. I even was like, I had to catch myself. I had to remind myself I was acting. I know nothing about this man. I know nothing about him.
That would be me too. Hello,
it happens.
Especially if I'm in a movie with Trevor Noah. Done.
Oh,
I'm in
honey,
love.
You know what? I'm too young for him, but Morris Chestnut, if he was single, hello. I love me some Morris Chestnut. The guy who plays Mufasa, Aaron Pierre.
Oh, first of all, I saw oh my God, Morris Chestnut in Reasonable Doubt.
Mm. Oh, I haven't seen it yet.
In those sex scenes, you're gonna fall in love. You're gonna fall in love again. Just saying. Anyways,
like I need to fall in love with more people.
You called about other things. What did you want to talk about?
I did. See, we were about to exchange notes. But anyway, Brynn, I would say I kind of feel bad for Brynn because I think she let the fame get to her head. I in a past life, I worked at CAA, and I remember when the press release that before it became public, it got sent to us. And that she got signed by CAA. And anybody who's familiar with the entertainment industry, getting signed by CAA is no small feat. It's a very big deal. And the agency also has Andy Cohen signed and Bethany Frankel. So and those two actually share some agents, just FYI. But I would say it's like, I think when I saw that press release come through and then I saw Deadline report on it like a few days later, I was kind of like, wow, she's going to let fame get to her head because she don't even know. She doesn't even know the real, the mammoth monster that is this industry. And she's going to get eaten alive because if people have to understand that people will love you one moment and they'll hate you the next. And I think she is a personification of the issue with the RHONY reboot. These people are not real friends.
No.
Everyone keeps saying it over and over. I've heard you say it. I've heard other bloggers say it. I've heard people on YouTube say it. On Threads, everywhere, on TikTok, everyone says it. These people aren't friends. I'm tired of it. And I was watching Southern Hospitality during the holiday break because I was bored. And I was like, oh, I see why some people like this show because you can tell these people were actually friends before the cameras came. And so even though it's not my favorite show, it's definitely a show I could sit down and watch for a few episodes and enjoy. It's not, no, but it's like, I was like, for me, it's no vintage Vanderpump Rules. You know me? I love some chaotic Vanderpump Rules, but it's fine. And so, but I could tell those people are real friends. And so it enticed me to watch like the entire first season. On RHONY, these women are not friends. Yeah. It's so obvious. And I feel bad for people like Raquel, who is coming in as this like big dynamo personality with her partner. And so she's showing queer life on TV and she's walking into this mess. And it's just like, I want to see her friends. I want to see what they have going on. And they don't need to fight. If they just keep keying at brunch in
having
Brooklyn,
a good time and fun.
Right. I'll watch that.
Because look, I always go back to the Chrisley's Knows Best. I know they're locked up. Shut up. But when we thought they were decent human beings, they didn't have nasty drama like this. No. And they were amazing and fun to watch.
Right. Exactly. And the thing is that I think people forget with the old RHONY. People go like, oh, we enjoyed the fights. Like when Ramona and Luann were going at each other. Okay, excuse me. The parts that y'all loved is when they were getting drunk in a pool in the middle of Mexico and where Luann was falling in the bushes and they were laughing and kikiing together. I heard everyone was loving those scenes. That's when they were all getting along. Mm-hmm. That's when they were all in just like, and then the next day they would be fighting. But in that moment, the scenes that I remember from vintage RHONY is when they were all getting along. And I think with Brynn, I don't know if it's trauma response. I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm not a psychologist, so I don't know. But so I don't want to comment on that. But I feel like she's let the fame get to her head because she was the quote unquote breakout star of the first season. And so I just hope that she realizes, I hope she gets that ego in check because I don't see Bravo keeping on this cast for next season. I don't, because the ratings are abysmal and people are yelling from the rooftops, we don't like this.
Yeah. Or them.
Exactly. And to end on this note, because I know other people are in the queue, Wendy Williams family, bravo. This effort that you guys have put up on getting her voice out there is so orchestrated. It's so done with such finesse. I'm like, yes, because this could have been done messy. It could have been the blogs. It could have been just like it could have been like Love and Hip Hop on crack, but it wasn't. Okay. They were like, no. we are going to handle this because we're not just dealing with like regular, like regular Joe Schmo. Is that the phrase? I don't know. Just hold me to it. But we are dealing with literally the state judicial system, and they, especially of New York, and they don't play. They cross those T's, they dot those I's, and so I'm glad that they are making this very orchestrated method to get her out of that luxury prison. And the fact that her grandfather is 94, like I lost my grandfather. I'm sorry, her father. Sorry. My grandfather died in last February, and he died at 97, and I got to see him 2 weeks before he passed away. Wow. And I know that's one of the greatest decisions I ever made, was like, because it was a struggle trying to get that flight and get on that plane, and I'm so glad I did, because 2 weeks later he was gone. Wow. And the last thing I would never wish on my worst enemy is knowing that you have somebody above the age of 80, tomorrow's not promised, and let the woman go see her dad. Because I remember her saying that in the Charlemagne interview, where she goes like, my dad's turning 94. I want to see him because tomorrow's not promised. So I'm glad her family's putting up this fight. Let her be with her family. Yeah. And if they mess up, then we'll handle that later. But let the woman be with her. It doesn't seem like they're going to mess up. It seems like they're going to handle the situation. And
she needs the support. I think that's the narrative, that she could just be free. And
yes,
I mean, look. She needs support. I do believe that Wendy Williams needs support. I just don't believe that Wendy Williams needs to be isolated from her family.
If she knew the name of every single crew member on her show, and anybody who is an OG who watched her YouTube channel and watched the after show will know that she knew the name of every single crew member on her show, that showed you that is a woman who likes to be around people. Yeah.
Until she doesn't, and then she's like, I'm gonna go to my court. She is a Cancer.
But she's open and honest about, like, okay, I need to be alone. Yeah. Okay, I appreciate that, because I have a hard time letting people know, like, yo, I need my space. She like, nah, I need to be alone. Close the door. Yeah. Like, oh, I need to learn tips. But anyway, that's all I have to say. But next, if you're on the set one day, Kempire, you may be falling in love and you don't even know it.
I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. Nope.
Hey, you never know. I'm telling you, when I did that short film.
But let me tell you something about me. Because of my background in HR, I'm very professional. Like there have been so many opportunities for me to cross the line, and I never do it.
That's good. And also, one thing about intimacy coordinators, I hope people know that's a fairly new thing on set.
Yes.
Like, not every set has an intimacy coordinator. If anybody don't watch this show, just read the cliff notes. The Idol on HBO, like, whatever his first name, Levinson, literally has an episode where he makes fun of sets having an intimacy coordinator because now he's forced to have one. Like, that was based off, allegedly, real life instance. So I'm just saying intimacy coordinators are relatively new. They're not on every set. They will be eventually, because it is becoming the status quo, but it's not. It's more of a privilege and a luxury versus a given. But hopefully we are heading in the direction where there is an intimacy coordinator on every single set, small and large.
And shout out to Candy for having one on her movie that she did with Drew Sidora.
As she should, because the thing is that you would hope your actors come in there with good intentions, and sometimes things can go awry, and it's unplanned. Yeah. So it's just like, you just have to have people, and also it just makes the actors feel safe, because if you think about it, you're doing an intimate scene, and you got like 10 dudes looking at you half naked. Like, that's weird. Like,
where do you get your training for it to be an intimacy coach?
So now there is like training online and also in person. Like, people who've been in the industry now are like creating courses, and so that there's no certification, there's no license for it, but there's like training for it so that you can go for it with jobs. So you can give your resume and say, hey, like, I trained to be an intimacy coordinator with so-and-so. Also, if you're looking to be an intimacy coordinator, like, start on independent films, start on short films that have that may have intimate scenes. And so you may not be getting paid for that, but at least you can put that on your resume to show that you know what to do. And also you can provide to the director, producer, whoever, like, these are the list of protocols that I abide by when I'm working with my my actors on certain scenes. And this is what I require for who can be on set. And also intimacy coordinators can be an advocate for the actors if they don't feel comfortable speaking up. They're like, hey, this actor doesn't want 15 people on set. Can we get this down to a skeleton crew where it's only a few, it's a director, the DP, the director of photography / cinematographer, and a few crew members, and that's it. And keep it moving, because it's an extremely awkward experience.
I can imagine.
It is. And so like I can tell you this, every love scene that you probably have seen, and you're like, oh, that love scene was hidden.
It felt real.
Was the most awkward thing filmed ever, because there's choreography. You hit a spot, like pretend someone's on top of you, and the director goes like, hold, change lighting, or hold this. Like, it's literally awkward. It's like a step-by-step choreography. And so you literally have to hold the position you're in while they change the camera, change the shot, and they're like,
and
okay,
wearing a sock.
go. It's like, it is awkward. And then the thing is, you're wearing only a sock or a piece of cloth over your private parts. It is weird. But guess what? You would never know it when you see it.
That's some good acting then.
It is good acting. It is good acting.
All right.
So intimacy coordinators we're heading in the right direction by having them on set. They're more of a new career venture versus like something that's been around for over 100 years, as long as film has been around.
Yeah. It probably, I'm assuming it probably started after Me Too, which is not that old.
It was in response to Me Too. Okay. And a lot of what really got the ball rolling is certain male actors like Michael B. Jordan. Like, female actresses have been asking for something like this for years.
I'm sure.
But no one was listening to them. So of course you need these male actors to co-sign, say, oh yeah, we're gonna have intimacy coordinators on our sets at all times. It's like, okay, well, I mean, it shouldn't take a man to co-sign it, but hey, we'll take it and like keep it moving. So it was in response to Me Too and to what was the other one that wasn't related to Me Too? I can't remember it now. Time Out. No, not Time Out. Was it Time Out? Somebody in the chat say it. I don't remember. When they wore all black to the Golden Globes.
What was that? Was it Time Out? I don't remember. It's okay. Anyways.
Time's up. It was Time's Up. Time's Up. And that's my cue, because my time is up. Yes. Okay. You see how I did that? You saw how I did that?
Thanks,
anyway,
Janelle.
Yes,
we learned a lot.
Kempire.
Take care. Bye.
You too.
Lots of helpful information, and I believe Miss Esquire is going to give us some more helpful information. Miss Esquire, what is going on? You started this conversation. You us going live tonight to talk about Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni.
I did. I have a lot to talk about. So where would you like to start?
Oh my gosh. Do you have other things that you want to talk about outside of Blake, like the other topics that we talked about?
I just want to mention, for those of us who care, that Ashley from Love is Blind is divorcing that man with all those babies. And, we all knew that was going to happen when they couldn't make money together.
Yeah.
And I still don't want to see her on my television screen or on the internet. She can go away, too.
Oh, wait, who?
Ashley, that girl who married that man and stood 10 toes down.
Yes.
You can go away. All I care about is bride and them babies.
Yeah, she really went hard for him, too, in those interviews.
Well, she told those of us who are single and dusty and rusty that we don't know what it is to be married after she had been married for 3 seconds. Know one thing about them tables, baby. They like to turn. They love a good turn.
I literally saw that. I think it was today or yesterday. I saw that they were getting a divorce. And I was like, everyone
she
in the
hasn't
comments
filed yet. They got a 6-month waiting period.
Oh,
so.
Lord. Mm-mm.
They got to be separated for 6 months in Maryland. So.
So we know that about Maryland. Hey, Ashley Darby. Speaking of Ashleys. All right. Thank you for the update on that. What else?
I think the first thing I want to start with Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni is the comparison, I think, to the Johnny Depp Amber Heard case is a really misplaced one. And I'll give a couple of reasons why. In the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard case, there were 2 cases that they litigated. One was a case in the UK where Johnny Depp had sued a tabloid for identifying him as an abuser. He lost that case to the tabloid. He had filed a libel case. But then he sued Amber Heard directly for defamation. Based on the op-ed that she had wrote identify him as a domestic violence abuser without naming him. And he won that case. I think it's different in a lot of ways. One, that case is about domestic violence, which is different than sexual harassment and retaliation. Those are just two different types of abuses. I know a lot of people, feel like they live in the same universe. And I would say in many respects they do, but they are different. So that's one. Two, the cases were different in the nature of the relationships between the people. Johnny Depp and Amber Heard had a interpersonal romantic relationship that became the subject of the trial because how they related to each other, how they communicated with each other, how they fought as a couple, all of that came under scrutiny when you're trying to determine whether there's domestic violence, because that was her defense. I'm not being defamatory because you were a domestic violence abuser in our relationship. So you had to you sort of unfortunately tear at all of these threads of their relationship to determine whether her defense had validity, right? And that is a very different relationship than the one that Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni have to each other. I think the other way that it's very different is that case was in county court. It was in a state court in Virginia where you could have cameras, you could see it all. The evidence was there in front of the world and a jury, and the publicity part of it could be played out in court. This is different because these cases, this New York case and California case, are both in federal court. Yeah. There are not going to be any cameras. You are not going to have transcripts the day of from those court proceedings. Federal courts are also real iffy about who can be in there, right? So this idea that people are like, they need to let everything play out in court, I understand that sentiment, but you have to understand we are not going to see this trial, if there is one, the way we saw that one, which is why both parties have played with PR here to get certain things out in the public space. So I just wanted to kind of say that because people are lumping them together. And I think one of the reasons they're doing that is honestly Blake Lively's fault. Well, not Blake Lively, but her team's fault, because one of the first things they came out and said about Justin Baldoni is, oh, he hired the same PR firm that Johnny Depp had to try to castigate him in a similar position. And they said that throughout the, CDR complaint as well. And while, they have every right to frame him as an abuser, given her allegations, I think putting those two cases in the same bucket together does the public a disservice from just like an education standpoint, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I wanted to say that.
Yeah. No, you said a lot.
Yeah, that's been on my heart and my spirit. So I was like, y'all, these are apples and elevators that we're talking about. These are two different things. And I think the other thing I would say is, today the big thing was the letter that everybody keeps saying there's a motion for a gag order that was filed in the New York case. I can't find the actual motion anywhere. Have you seen the motion? Because I've only seen the letter.
I haven't. I've only seen the headlines that Blake Lively's team was, filing for a gag order because of the 10 minutes of raw footage that Justin Baldoni's team released. I haven't.
Well, I think it's really because he's threatening that website. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, go ahead.
So I saw a letter that her counsel issued to the judge, which lays out, I think, what's going to be the same arguments that they're going to put in this motion for a gag order. And so just so everybody knows, sometimes there are certain federal civil procedural rules about how a lawsuit is supposed to go. And lawyers, as officers of the court, are absolutely supposed to abide by those rules of civil procedure. And there are certain ethics rules that lawyers also have to abide by that kind of restrain us sometimes and how zealous of an advocate we can be for our clients, what evidence we can share outside of the litigation itself with the public. And so what Blake Lively's lawyers are saying is Justin Baldoni and Wayfair's and all those folks' lawyer, Brian Friedman, he is sharing evidence in a way that is unfair to the case, that is going to, he's kind of saying taint the jury pool in a way. Yeah. Now, again, that's language we usually see on the criminal side of things. You don't always see that on the civil side of things, because in federal civil cases, you don't always have a jury. Sometimes you have a bench trial and you're just presenting your case to the judge. But it's a fairness argument that they're making. Like, you are putting this evidence that should be filed and tested within the confines of the litigation. You're putting it out in the public in a way that disproportionately hurts my client in this litigation, and they want the judge to stop him from doing it. And they're saying like this is a violation of federal civil procedure, and this is a violation of like precedent and court cases. I don't know that they're going to be successful in getting this gag order. Federal courts are already so hard for the public to access, like I said already. So federal judges are really reticent to, and I'm sorry I'm using all this like I'm talking like I'm still at work. Federal
we
judges
appreciate
don't I'm like, let me get out of the
We're
way.
glued. We're like,
Federal judges really don't like putting gag orders in place. They really don't like sealing records because the federal courts are already so hard for people to access. Like to get these documents, you have to have a Pacer account. That's something you have to pay for.
Yep.
You can't come into the court. You know this because you used to twirl around with us lawyers. But he don't clock in and out no more, baby. But you have to, it's just hard to access the federal courts. And so judges in federal cases usually don't like to like restrict what public information, what information the public has access to. So I don't see a gag order being placed here. What I do see is an admonishment coming from this judge though. And I think it will be specifically about this website because I ain't never heard of nothing like that.
that part got me that they are going to launch some sort of website.
I think it was a bluff.
Oh.
And I think they crazy like a fox, these folks who represent Justin Baldoni, because actually it's to his benefit if there is a gag order put in place, because it would actually silence everybody. Now, people who are, advocates for abuse victims will have a feeling about that, what it means to silence her in the public space outside of the litigation. And that's another conversation I'm not qualified to have.
And haven't we seen this with the Diddy case as well? Them seek gag orders in that federal situation?
Well, there was, but I think they were gag orders on Diddy for him to stop speaking because it was amounting to witness intimidation. And that is a real reason, especially in a criminal case, to put a gag order in place. In a civil case, again, I don't want to say the stakes are lower, but the stakes are about money. The stakes are not about a person's, freedom. And so a gag order really has to meet a certain bar in order for it to be put in place because you're inhibiting someone's speech.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I think that it's not likely that the gag order will go in place. I think they may have done this to force a motion for a gag order so that everybody will shut up and it will just take place in the courts because that benefits the defendant here for them to no longer to be able to leak things to the press. Because let's be clear, Blake Lively has been leaking things to the press. That New York Times investigation piece did not come out of nowhere. That CDR complaint, that Civil Rights Division complaint that she first had to file in California before she could actually get her right to sue, that is usually not public record. You usually have to file a Freedom of Information Act or a public records request to get that. So
she leaked that. Allegedly.
And listen, I'm not judging that, but I'm just saying for people to be like, he putting a lot of stuff out here and she didn't, that's not necessarily true. I just think her team is a lot more stiff about it. And his team is being a lot more, let's go talk to TMZ, let's get on this podcast, let's put up together a website. Like they not trying to hide the ball.
And I think based on covering a lot of these different stories, not every attorney is made the same. Because there are certain attorneys that will play their position and they'll do everything through the court. And then there are some attorneys that are messy. Or just downright wrong, because we've seen that in some other situations. I'm not saying
they're just willing to roll around in the mud with you. You know what I'm saying? That works for their brand, that works for the clientele that they're trying to attract. Like if you think about those lawyers that represented Johnny Depp, last summer, a lot of people, especially that female lawyer that was on that team, were like, how could you take this case? How could you advocate for that? But they rolled the dice and it worked for them because they showed themselves to be very effectual counselors for a certain type of client.
And don't you think that was intentional to have a female representing him?
Listen, let me tell you something. I used to do a certain type of litigation. I used to do medical malpractice defense, and particularly I used to do labor and delivery medical malpractice defense. If ever we had a labor and delivery case where it was like a bad birth and we were defending a physician or a hospital, I was always at the table. I was always at the table because what does it look like for men to be up here talking about this particular delivery when this woman is involved? So yeah, lawyers always think about the optics of that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But this guy, I mean, he a zealous advocate, but
Brian
don't
Freeman.
lose your license for any one client is my advice.
I mean, but here's the thing. I mean, I think like it really is hard because we've seen so many in covering these pop culture legal stories. We've seen so many attorneys be really messy, and they probably should have lost their license, but they don't.
No, because there is a lot of leeway in terms of your ability to advocate for your client. And you are supposed to be both an officer of the court, but a zealous advocate for your client. And walking that line sometimes can be a little touchy depending on the client, depending on the case. But I think when you're dealing with these high profile figures, you have to know that there is a part of this strategy. The legal strategy and the PR strategy are so intertwined. It is really hard to separate them. I've never tried cases like this.
Yeah.
So, I can't imagine. But what I will say is, I just want to also say this to people, and I'm saying it because it's just, this. Sexual harassment is a very difficult claim to be successful on because you not only have to show these instances of sexually inappropriate conduct, you have to show that it was severe or pervasive. That is the standard. And what we think of as severe when you're experiencing it, when you have to present that to a jury, to a judge, there's a difference of opinion in what severity means. And there's a difference of opinion in how pervasive something has to be. Like it really has to change the circumstances of the workplace. I mean, and this in ways that are so pronounced. And we can have a discussion about whether that standard should be that high, because I do think there's an argument to be had for that. But right now, the standard is pretty high for a sexual harassment federal claim. And it's not one that's easily made. And in this situation, where there's so many ways to provide context, whether you agree with the context or not, there's so many ways to provide context for every one of the choices that he's making that she alleges was sexual harassment. Yeah. I think it's a very difficult case. The better case to me is the retaliation case. Because they signed an agreement with her after the meeting they had at the top of 2024. They signed an agreement agreeing to all these different things. And I looked it up again today, and I just want to read something to y'all that was in this agreement. There shall be no retaliation of any kind against artists for raising concerns about the conduct described in this letter or for these requirements. Any changes in attitude, sarcasm, marginalization, or other negative behavior, either on set or otherwise, including during publicity and promotional work, as a result of these requests, is retaliatory and unacceptable and will be met with immediate action. I think the retaliation case is a stronger case here, unfortunately, because they are going to have to show that whole plan and strategy they put together to combat whatever Blake was going to put out, that they didn't enact that. They really are going to have to show that this was an organic social media thing that they hired all these crisis PR folks for and had all these strategy plans, and they just didn't need them. And they never put them in action. To me, that's the bigger part of this case.
Yeah. Oof.
Yeah.
I just feel like this is going to play out for a very long time before it's resolved.
Because she's a Virgo, baby. I told you earlier.
We talked about that earlier. That was some damning information that Blake Lively is a Virgo. Like all her planets.
I feel so sorry for her. I cannot imagine what it's like in her head being a Virgo moon, a Virgo sun, a Virgo Mercury, a Virgo Mars, and a Virgo Venus. This is the way this woman thinks. It's the way she communicates. It's the way she loves. Do you understand? I can't imagine. That's why I'm like, when I found that out, I have so much empathy for her because it's crazy up here for me, and I'm only a Virgo sun and a Virgo Mercury.
I knew she was a Virgo, but I didn't realize she had that much Virgo in her chart. But that is quite telling.
And in her first and second house, all of those are in her first and second house: the Mercury, the Mars, and the Venus. And you know what that means. That means, baby, it's there at the surface. It ain't deep down nowhere.
I already know she would work my nerve.
I'm sure she works her own nerves. Like, I get sick of me. And like I said, I only got 2 placements. So, yeah, I think I feel very sorry for her because I'm sure whatever they can prove in court is one thing. What she is saying she experienced, she truly believes it. She truly, I think, believes that she was wronged in this situation and feels that it is her job to get this truth out there. Yeah. And that is a real driving force. And it's actually, when you're in litigation, it's real hard because I always tell my clients, I don't care nothing about the truth, the principle of the matter. Yeah. If we file a lawsuit, we want damages, we want a certain action to be taken. You're not going to get morally vindicated in this. The courts, unfortunately, are not really designed for that, particularly on the civil side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lord. Well, Ms. Esco, we always appreciate when you call in. You gave so much information. I love how Janelle came in with the behind the scenes of a movie set, and now we have the legal part. Oh my God. I feel so educated. This is why I love when you guys call in. Please call in some more. We might have to do a special live just talking the legal aspect because I feel like we're going to be talking about this for the rest of 2025 because, as you said, she's a Virgo. She's gonna continue.
Okay, good night. Have a good night.
You too. Thank you so much for calling in.
Bye.
Bye. All right, we're going to take a couple more callers, guys, but I'm not going to give you as much time, okay? Because I want to get to everyone. And it's almost 11 o'clock, and I have to prepare. I'm going to Washington, D.C. this Friday, okay? The Kempire After Dark live experience is coming to Union Stage. There are still some tickets available, so if you haven't got your tickets or meet and greet tickets, go get your tickets today. More information is available in the description. New York City, you're up next on Friday, February 21st. We'll be at the Green Room 42. There is also a live stream ticket option as well. More information on that also will be available in the description. Guys, let's get to 500 likes. Thank you so much, NYCMP, for the super chat. NYCMP says, "Been all of these places, Brynn and Blake, muddy the waters of protection and relevance in all areas of justice. They diminish their truths in the way that they handle their reactions. Brynn and Blake hurt the cause by how they react now." Okay, thank you so much for the super chat. Umi says, "But didn't Brynn say she left RHONY?" That is a misinformation that was put out there by a parody account on social media. Brynn never released a statement about not returning. Okay, all right. Let's get to our next caller. Kimberly's backstage. Kimberly, what's going on? What did you want to share?
Good evening, Kempire.
Hey.
Just a double dip day for me with you, and I'm so annoyed about it. I'm happy you're here, of course, and I'm happy to be here, but I mean, especially following, I really appreciate the last caller and the information. Yeah. But my God, I mean, Brynn's making it hard. I'm over here speaking up for her, trying to speak up, not in her defense. I'm not apologizing for her, but I'm not taking it all back, but I have to say, I just talked about her earlier with you in a call. Just trying to say that, what am I trying to say? She needs to go see the lady. And I happen to be that lady. I'm currently booked through already the beginning of March. I work at a mostly Latino organization. Things are really crazy right now. You can imagine. But you know what? I will make time. I will make time for Brynn to see me because she needs to see somebody. It has to. It's just that. So I'm overtired. Probably doesn't make any sense at all, but I was trying to just say that and wish you a good evening.
Thank you so much, Kimberly, for calling in. Bye, Kimberly. Oh, Lord. All right, Barry's backstage. Barry dropped out. I don't know what happened. All right, we're going to bring Zoe up next. Zoe, what did you want to share?
Hi, Kempire. Long time no see.
Yes, how are you?
I'm good. It's 5:30 a.m. preparing for work. You my news in the morning.
Oh, thank you.
I just really wish that New York City had a real Black person, like an African American. Because I feel like they would have been able to point out things going left from the Hamptons, because that's where I went left with Brynn. I was like, I know mixed race girls like you. I know where this is going. And Uber needs to be very strategic on how she responds to Brynn. I feel like it's difficult for her because she didn't grow up in a country where there was a lot of Black people, white people. She grew up in Somalia. Somalia. Somalia is a white black country. And then she moved to Kenya when she was 15, and then her family moved to Canada. The girl just said this season that she was ignorant to racism because she wasn't booking any gigs in New York City, and it took her long to understand that her race had to play a role in that. So someone like that who doesn't understand racism doesn't have so qualified to pick up the microaggressions in social setting. So she needs someone who's experienced. I feel like an African American growing up in New York as a cast member might have been able to see some things and point them out. Because even this situation is flying over most of the girls' heads, like Raquel and Sia. The microaggressions of Brynn are flying over their heads. And even though Erin got it every now and then, it's hard for her to stand on her own when nobody is backing her up in that, and she can't be too vocal because I also feel like they don't want to turn it to Potomac 2.0.
Yeah.
I feel like they're also running away from that, so they might not be too vocal. But if there was another black person who was vocal, I feel like I will back it up. I feel like Uber will be able to assess things better.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, Zoe. It just reminded me that Eric Fuller is at the helm of the season of Real Housewives of New York. He was also at the helm of Real Housewives of Potomac.
Yeah. She needs a stronger a black person who understands racial issues in social settings to help her out. And I feel like Jenna is too old to understand most things, and she's also consciously biased a little bit, and she's very English words running away from me. I haven't had my coffee yet. She's very quick to believe a Brynn, because my situation is this girls needs to really ask themselves why was it so easy for Brynn to manipulate them, because whiteness is associated with innocence. So when Brynn says something, it's believed quicker, while Uber had to fight and yell and scream for hard truth to be believed. If she had another black person in the room who understands racism, she'll be able to maneuver the situation a little bit better. And I'm also very disappointed how easily manipulated Sia is. Sia understands Uber when it comes to being angry, abrasive, because she's a Latina. She understands how they view her, sassy Latina, hangry Sia, all of that. So she can come in to tone things down and explain things, but then she also gets manipulated when then she's in the room, she hears Uber saying, maybe if you slipped your way here, and then she hears Brynn's side and says, oh, you said I'm a suck thing. I'm like, but see, you were there in the room. You heard what was said. Why is your brain suddenly forgetting things? Is this thing of living in white society, white community, married to a white person, for a long time you think you're white and you forget, and things fly over your head. And she needs a stronger black character who understands racism to help her out socially, because she doesn't get it. And as an African in Africa, I understand. She grew up in Somalia. Not many black people are there. Grew up in Kenya. Not many black people are there. And then she moved to Canada. Racism is not that big over there. But when she got to America, she's missing all the social cues. So the thing is, the racist part of it is not going to be addressed in a way that I would like it to be addressed, because there's not much strong black people who can back her up. Yeah. And then people like Erin, if they speak up, they'll be like, oh, shut up, you white, you know what you're talking about. If a white girl is telling you that you're being racist.
We literally saw that happen during the season.
Exactly. But then is Uber strong enough? Because I also feel like Uber doesn't want to play into the race card. She doesn't want to be that black person that brings out the race card. So she might not be advisable for her to raise it. You want someone else who's on the outside to raise it. This is where Sia and Raquel will be the best people to come in, and Jazel. And I also want to say, have you guys noticed, because I've been pointing it out, I'm just tired of calling in to talk about New York when nobody is interested, when I'm like so frustrated in my room, I'm like, oh, I need to talk to someone. It pisses me off on how none of these girls, or not just the girls, but us in general, just watching how Brynn gets very comfortable in picking fights with Uber and Jazel only. And those are the two darkest skinned girls in the room. An immigrant from London, Indian, and a black person from Africa. Those are the people that she feels comfortable going after. Yes, she might start to mess with Erin, but it ends quickly. She might start something with Jenna, but it's light and it ends quickly. And then consistently throughout the season, she's just been rotating which brown girl she wants to attack, and nobody sees the racial motive behind it. And it's just like, oh, it's fun. It's not fun. Brynn is racist when she's white. She's prejudiced if she's black, because you never know which one is which. And she's privileged enough to show up as any person she wants in the world. She can be black if she wants to be. She can be white if she wants to be. But when she chooses to be white, she shows up as a racist white woman from Indiana. That's a choice she makes. And then when she chooses to be black, she's only black for financial gain. I'm going to tell a story about how I'm not in touch with my black side. Season 1, I want to get to know black people. That flies out very quickly. And then she's only black when she wants to play the black card and manipulate people of color to feeling sorry for her. But on any other day, she's just a racist white woman from Indiana. Whoa. It's a personal choice. Whoa. And I wish someone could say it out loud.
Whoa.
In the reunion
to
her face.
Like you just did.
Is she watching? Anyway, just one more thing. I know, just one more thing, then I'm out, I promise. I know how serious Blake Lively's case is, but I just want to be the toxic person to say, when I first saw it, I just thought this is a typical person who might have fallen in love, and then her husband got mad, and then she tried assault afterwards. That's just what I'm thinking. I'm like, as a show, maybe you just fall in love with this guy and your husband for some type of way, and you have to get out of it somehow, and you didn't understand how far it's going to go.
Well, I did not want us to say that again, but I did talk about that earlier, saying that we have to take the people out of it. And remember, back in the day, when people were not clocking sexual harassment in the workplace, they made the woman the villain. Oh, she just had a crush on him. Even though people don't like Blake Lively, I always go back to that and put it in that particular box so that people kind of be like, well, you know what? I never thought about it that way. So let's keep it to the facts and not our fascinations. Okay.
Yeah, I did say toxic. We'll see.
It's okay.
Thank you so much, Kempire. Have a good day.
You too. Bye. But again, like I said, there are a lot of people saying the similar thing, but I like to take Blake out of the situation and remind people they do this all the time to women in the workplace. Putting Blake in this Justin situation to the side, they do love to make women the villains in these sexual harassment stories, and it's something important that we need to keep in mind when we are handling this type of situation, because these things happen every day in the workplace. There are literally people that are watching this video that are going through this, microaggressions in the workplace, sexual harassment in the workplace. So let's just keep that in mind. We will continue to follow this story. If you enjoy content like this, be sure to subscribe and hit your notifications so that you don't miss out on anything. And please make sure that you're still subscribed. Shout out to our King's Guard. Shout out to those of you that sent in super chats. We appreciate it. Venmos, Cash Apps, all of that. Shout out to all of you watching on TikTok, Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, and of course here on YouTube. We appreciate you. And shout out to our members. I see so many members in the chat. We appreciate you guys. Become a member today at TheKempire.com/join. I want to say what's up to the replay crew. Be sure to let me know where you're watching from, what's the temperature, and your opinion on any of the things that we covered. And shout out to Janelle and Miss Esquire for dropping a lot of really great knowledge from different perspectives when it comes to this Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni story. We're going to continue to follow that story and so much more and keep you up to date. So make sure, again, that you are subscribed. And don't forget, the Kempire After Dark, a live experience, is coming to a city near you. Thank you so much, NYCMP, for the super chat. We appreciate it. We're getting out of here. I will see you guys in a city near you.
Thanks for tuning in to Kempire here on the Kempire Radio podcast. As always, don't forget to give us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. And for everything Kempire Radio, head on over to KempireRadio.com.